Hey guys, welcome to the Golf Podcast Live. I'm your host, Rafael Kalamat, alongside Michael Bleackley. Lots to talk about today. We've got Tiger Woods. We've got the Hero Challenge, World Challenge in Bahamas. We're going to talk about favorite golf courses, maybe a little bit about women's golf. We have, for the first time, our top 10 list, Mike, and it's pretty wild. We're going to recap the year, talk about great moments or subjects, things that really took place in the 2021 season. I'd like to mention we got some special guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. Carrie Moffat, Class A PGA professional from Vancouver, is going to be joining us, along with Dave Hill in Montreal, who is also a Class A professional, to give their insights on the game, where it's going, technology, equipment. So much to cover, eh, Mike?
It, we've also got Kellen Ainsworth confirmed, pro hockey player, scratch golfer, and former club champion at Mayfair Lakes. Just a solid guy. So, and many more. So, stay tuned. We'll be posting our schedule on Instagram. We're working on those channels to deliver more information and grow the show. So,
You know,
please
it's
share, follow us.
awesome. Yeah, share, subscribe. We're just getting started. We're going to come out of this beta mode right now that we're kind of learning the ropes on talking about golf and life and how, all these people work together. We talk PGA Tour golf a lot, and we talk about, fitness and technology, how it's changed over the years and how the average person could get into golf. So we cover a multitude of subjects. Um, Mike, really important this week. What happened? One of the craziest tournaments of the year with only official world golf ranking points. The purse was pretty big too. It was a 3.5 million at the Hero World Challenge in Bahamas. An Ernie Els design. I never thought I'd see so many great shots and so much calamity in one tournament.
It was fun to watch. I caught all of Sunday. I got some highlights from the first few days, but we saw Victor Hovland, couple eagles in a row, was 5 under on 3 holes, which was unbelievable. And at the same time, we watched someone make a unbelievable seven. Jean Van de Velde-esque moment where Sam Burns being in the lead, and as an amateur golfer or any golfer for that matter, what it's like to proverbial shit the bed.
Yep.
And I'm sure we can you just love to hear what was going on inside his mind while going through there. But he did make an amazing putt from the fringe to salvage seven. So it's pretty exciting golf.
Yeah, the back nine, it felt like a back nine of a major. I know people might disagree with this, but the way the course is laid out, it really penalizes you on a bad shot because these guys could get it up and down from inside of a trunk of a car. But when you put them in a position where they don't have a shot at all, and it's all about playing your shot or being an iron player, and that's why Morikawa came up on top. 5 shot lead going into Sunday, and all of a sudden he just falls apart. So did several other players, and then all of a sudden you have Schauffele and Victor Hovland in the mix. Victor Hovland shoots a final round 66 with 2 bogeys on 17 and 18. But like you mentioned, that eagle on 14 out of the bunker, and then on 15, you know, uh, just just incredible. So he wins the Hero Challenge. Now he wins at Mayakoba, so that's 2 wins in a row. Somebody mentioned online, I was reading an article, how they're calling him the Resort King because he's always winning down south. He won in Puerto Rico, and I think he won the BMW International Challenge, which is not a resort course, but haven't heard that one yet. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't, but it is a good point. He seems to win in these destination events. And how could you not feel good? Like that property looked amazing. Just makes you want to transport yourself down there. And these guys, this is silly season, so there's no pressure other than the game, right? These guys get into a match. There's 20 of them, all top players. It's a great field. Tiger, hitting balls on the range. How great was that?
Yeah.
Jumping into the booth and commentating for a while. That was it was great to hear him, great to see him, and who knows, he might be playing golf shortly here at the Father Son Challenge.
Okay, we're going to certainly jump on Tiger Woods for a number of reasons today. I'm sure he made our top 10. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about what he did at the tournament. What a great host. He brought together an ensemble of people, not just in media, but in sponsorship. Did getting 17 of the top 25 players to come out shows you how much respect they have for him and how much pull he has still in the game. Everything from his 3-second video that came out last week to being on the back of the range and hitting that 3-wood. His interview, the press conference was fantastic. I think he really addressed a few things that he wanted to talk about and a few things he said, he doesn't want to share. The accident at the beginning of the year, he said it's all in the police report. Although, and he doesn't, it's his choice, right? He's been prodded since he was a kid about everything in his game. So if he doesn't answer the question, big deal. Like he does so much for us in other ways. Then he did his interview with Rex Hoggart, which was pretty great. And then the commentary with Sands and Fehrety was pretty brilliant. I think he should be in the booth more often because, he has a perspective nobody else has in the game.
Yeah, that's right. And if we're not going to see him on the course competing, he stated he won't play a full schedule. That would be great for the fans if he could spend some time in the booth, because to accomplish what he has in golf, you have to think differently. And he's obviously proven that and changed the face of golf over the last 2 decades as we see all the young up and coming players, both men and women. He has absolutely changed the face of golf. So his perspective would go a long way probably in promoting the game to new people and entertaining us. Because like we've talked about before, sometimes it's boring listening to the announcers on these PGA events, and they're very knowledgeable, absolutely more knowledgeable than I am. But you fall asleep sometimes because it's calm and relaxing, and which is cool in its own way. But you really sometimes it's good if the announcers could have some energy and pull us listeners and viewers along. That would be that would bode well for golf.
Because you hit the nail right on the head. It's not about only having the knowledge. You get Jaime Diaz, amazing guys, full of knowledge, has experienced so much in the game. Rich learner, has I like it when he does his journals and he talks about things. Brandel Chambly is a walking encyclopedia, former player, has a great rapport with a lot of the players. Well, not all of them, but he certainly has a very unique perspective. But bringing in people who are great golfers, one of the things that I saw today that was very cool is that they brought in Clemans on the Golf Channel and talked to him about his game because he'll be playing at that tournament in January for the LPGA. And, I find that really interesting. Bring in take a page out of the playbook for NFL football or Major League Baseball where they do segments and they do different things that really draw the audience a little bit more and get to know the players. So player profiles would be really cool during the broadcast. Like they could be 15, 30-second segments. What do you think?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. For sure. It gives a little more insight into different players, and doesn't always have to be about the top players, because we get a lot of information about Phil and Tiger and some of the top players, but promote some of the younger players and the lesser knowns. I think there's a lot of interesting stories out there. Every single one of them has a unique story, right? And it's not always a silver spoon upbringing that,
right.
for these players. A lot of these guys have slept in their cars and have really made big sacrifices to try to get out and get into these tournaments and build a golf career. And so I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, things are changing though. Those purses, Mike, those purses are getting ridiculous. The money's getting bigger. But just back to Tiger Woods for a minute. He made comments, his hit and giggle comment during the conference. saying
Mm.
that he's not ready for PGA Tour golf. He's hitting shots, he's losing flight as far as distance. He's got a hard time from the back tees. I think he's more ready than people think. I think he's been practicing. He looks pretty great. It looks like his upper body is very strong. He looks like he's in great shape. Um, and will he play the PNC? Like, here's my guess. He might play the PNC. I give it a 50-50 chance because he played for his son. It's a flat golf course. Even last year, his son carried him for about six tee boxes. Um, what do you think? Is it the PNC? Is it going to be the Masters? Maybe St. Andrews?
I would. I have a strong feeling he'll be playing the PNC, just for his son's sake. Just getting
Yeah,
Charlie out there, and it's a casual event. If he has to, back off, he could let Charlie play every shot. And if he comes across any discomfort, but if he's able to swing, hit balls on the range,
yeah.
pain free, and I would think he would do that, just for the just getting back out there.
Carts are
It's a
allowed,
fun event.
right?
Carts are allowed. There's no pressure, and if he doesn't need to play a hole, he won't, as he did last year. How many holes did little Charlie play? And they just
Right.
used his tee-ball. So I think we'll see him. And another thing with Tiger is, and most tour players and professional athletes, they don't really let on to their injuries. So he might be candid in a lot of ways. He's talking about his swing and where he's at, but I would think he's holding back a little bit, right? He wouldn't be out there hitting balls on camera this week if
Yep.
he was in pain, and so I think he's probably a little better than he's letting on.
I agree. I agree. Let's go back to Victor Hovland for a minute. Guy's 24 years old. He's won 3 times this year, right? He's got 5 worldwide wins. He went to Oklahoma State. People don't realize he won the U.S. Amateur. I don't know. See, when you're talking about doing profiles on players, how come we don't know about more about Victor Hovland, right? And so when you research it and you look into things, we need to know about these kids a little bit more. There's a lot of players that are between the ages of 24, 25, 26. Zalatoris, even Schauffele. Schauffele looks older than he looks. Younger. He looks older, right? Than 20. I think he's 24, 25. Um,
Schauffele definitely looks older. He's got he's like a young old man, right, if you will. Like he looks wise. Uh, so yeah, that absolutely. And what a career he's had so far. And we got to remember he is only 24. So we're going to see a lot out of this kid.
how about Jordan Spieth? I know he's had his kid this week. I know he's a new dad and he's searching for a swing. He hasn't had a terrible year. He's finished in the top 10 twice in a major. He got his win back after a couple of years of not having a win.
Yep.
But it was pretty funny to see him penalized for 2 strokes playing from the
Well,
wrong tee. I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
and did you see the press conference after? It was
Yeah,
priceless. So Henrik and him together, both of them. Here's two professional players with two professional caddies standing on the wrong bloody tee box, and they almost teed off in the wrong order. It was a comedy of errors, and seeing them at the interview after was pretty funny, actually. Good insight into their character. Henrik Stenson is one of the funniest guys on tour,
yeah.
and and we don't see enough of that as well, right?
Doesn't he
So
remind you of Jesper Parnevik? Remember Jesper
oh, a little
Parnevik?
bit,
He was
yeah,
kind of like a funny guy, and his dad was a known comedian. Yeah, I believe he's Swedish though.
yes. And Stenson isn't he Swede as well?
Yeah, he might be.
Is that
We're gonna have
something
to look.
that
We're gonna have to look that
pretty sure he is?
up.
And maybe it's something in the water over there that just produces comedians.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. The post-round interview was really funny. Probably one of the highlights of the year, uh, going into 2022. You know, I think this would be a great time to talk about our top 10 list. You know,
Yep.
our top 10 list is brought to you by one of our sponsors, ECS, Evolve Creative Solutions. They're really doing a great job by getting everything in check for us, making sure that we have all our digital marketing tools ready for our launch in 2022, because we're going to be, right now we're on Podbeam, and we're going to be on iTunes as well as Spotify, so that's pretty exciting. Um,
including Google Play and the radio platforms, all the major platforms. So we'll have a new website out shortly, and rebranded Instagram channel and YouTube channel, and we're ready to grow and get more guests in through the show. So ECS is the technology partner for the golf podcast, and will be helping us out a lot in the future.
and our official drink partner is Drink Well. Hey, you've got the hat on.
I've got the hat on. They make great little vodka drinks here. Very tasty. This is a green tea vodka.
Oh, that's interesting, eh?
And
I haven't tried one of those. I got to try that. I tried the fruit juices, are incredible. It's a
yes,
Canadian brand, by the way. So if you want to support local, that's fantastic.
yeah, their juices are great. That's what they started with first. Their vodka drink is a secondary product, but yeah, the juices are amazing. So we will. I don't know if we can give those away in the show, but we'll definitely have
I
more swag from Drink Well in the future.
Fantastic. One of the things I want to mention as well is, since we're talking about sponsors, there's a couple of people who've been supporting us from the beginning. So, the Upper Hand, sports cards and collectibles, upperhand.ca. Christian Anderson and the family over there have been really great on getting this podcast started. So, big thanks to them. Let's flip the switch here, Mike, and talk about Brooks Koepka, because it seems he's got a lot of swagger. He's been working on his game for the last couple of weeks. And his comment, I don't know, he rubs people the wrong way, but I love it. People are saying, oh, he shouldn't be this way. Let him be himself. If he's got swagger, and he says, just wait, was his comment. Because they're saying, oh, did you find that you hit your peak in 2018 and 19 with your 4 major wins? And he said, no, no, no. He said, that's not my peak. He goes, just wait. That's what he said.
There's a lot to golf and confidence, right? It's a confidence game.
Yeah.
So, and you love Brooks or not, he behaves like a bit of a douche, but that's him. And him and Dustin Johnson, workout partners, they're good buddies. And Brooks made some comments about the amount of majors that Dustin has, and sort of poked the bear a bit. And Brooks is just one of those guys. So, and that's the way he is. He doesn't change his personality, and golf needs some of this. It needs that. He's not really a villain. Like Patrick Reed kind of creates himself to be that villain on tour
Yeah.
with some of his comments, but Brooks is extremely talented, and look at what he's done in those 4 major wins. And people don't forget he's got hip and knee injuries.
Yeah.
And that how you can't play golf injured, anywhere. You need every muscle in your body to swing a golf club. So you can't be on your A game when your half of your foundation is injured. So if he can get himself to be pain free, and I think there's a lot in the tank for him. So, and it'll be fun to watch.
Look, Mike, I can't agree more. And I love the fact that you use villain, because I've got a film and television and a theater background as well. And it's like having a cast of characters. And you got to let everybody play out the way they are. Putting
Yeah.
them in a box, and golf has done this very well over the years, because it's a more of a high-end sport. There's etiquette, the image of the sport. The PGA Tour has penalized players for overreacting, but we're all emotional people. We're humans. How many times have we lost it on the golf course? I mean, if you go back in the day and you think about people like Steve Pate, or things happen where you get upset
Well,
and you throw your clubs or you say something. These guys aren't perfect.
the most
They're boxed in a lot of the time with odd questions. Rory McIlroy this weekend swore during the press conference because he had enough with the shirt comment, because he wants to be talking about his game, his sponsors, how he's doing, his family, and they keep on bugging him about ripping his shirt. That's how much he's passionate about golf. People said he didn't care about the game, and maybe there was a time where he was kind of going through his transition, right? But who
Yeah.
cares, right?
Well, golf, it's a frustrating game. It's extremely rewarding, and it's even more frustrating because it's going to teach you about failure more than success, and dealing with that. And things happen out there, right? You look at Woody Austin bent his putter over his head, a couple decades ago,
I,
and
I
right,
can't.
you know,
Sorry,
j-
Woody, but that
yeah,
was hilarious.
oh
I
yeah,
can't. At the side of his head, just banging his head away into
yeah,
the
that must
bending.
have hurt.
Yeah, that must
Yeah,
have
that could have knocked him out, right? But John Daly throwing clubs into the water, and the most patient person in the world would be swearing on the golf course, right?
Yes.
And it is it's frustrating. Even Tiger said to his son Charlie for the tournament last year was, "I don't care how mad you are and how mad you get, as long as you've over it for your next tee shot." And I'm paraphrasing a bit there, but the essence is vent, be done with it. You got to be ready to hit that next shot, especially with tournament golf. Like if you don't care, then go ahead, and if you're that casual golfer, so be it. But if you're actually in the competition, you have to drop that anger before you swing your next shot.
You know,
You know,
it's so funny that you bring all that up because we've reached out to Bob Rotella's people, trying to get this man here who wrote How Champions Think. I just going through it for the second time. Pretty incredible book. Talks about
yeah,
his career. He's helped out so many players, but the mental part of the game is so important. I mean, if you don't have the confidence that you talked about, if you don't have the ability to kind of zone in, because those are words and ways we communicate of explaining what happens when you hit really good shots under a lot of pressure, and that's just kind of zoning in, focusing, blocking everything out. I mean, we talk about Tiger Woods. It's funny how we go full circle back to this guy all the time. But when he was a kid, his dad used to drop balls when he was hitting shots, his
yep.
jiggle change and keys in his pocket, just preparing him for the life he was going to lead being on tour. And all of these players, in some shape or form, are prepared for this.
Yeah, no, and you never know. Anything can happen when you're on the golf course, from somebody honking a horn on the road that runs beside the course, or
Birds
a wild
squawking.
animal, the absolutely cart person coming up to you in the middle of your backswing, and then anything can happen. So you have to be able to zone into your shot and get into that process around the ball,
Mm.
like think box, go box type of process. So when you're at that ball for those short amount of seconds, that nothing's going to bother you.
Like heckling
Uh,
is nothing new. I mean,
no,
Jack and Tiger and everybody had to go through it. So Bryson DeChambeau, kind of losing it a few times, and or Brooks losing it because of the heckling. It's part of the game. I mean, you're out at a ball game. I'd hate to compare Major League Baseball or hockey or football. You got a stadium of 50,000, 15 to 50,000 people, yelling. The closest thing we have is out in Phoenix, right? At the Waste Management number 16, where you got, everybody just, having a good time, drinking. It's got that stadium sports feeling to it.
yeah, I mean, it's not like you want to see more of that. Like it's unique to that event, and
Right.
I don't know if I want to see a drunken party at every tournament, but I think for in that particular event and the way they've laid that out, and also the demographic in Phoenix, there's a lot of younger college, university kids over there who who will jump right into that, and it's a lot of fun. However, you look at Bethpage Black.
Mm.
The New York crowd is very forward and frank, right? You remember years back when they were
Yeah.
giving Sergio a hard time at the U.S. Open, and they'll tell it like it is in New York. So right? And you see this year with Brooks and Bryson, it was pretty, it was, comical in some ways, just because it's a little controversy with golf, right? Like this feud between those two guys has brought some attention to the sport that may not have been there, but it's also this stuff happens. This is there's 160 guys out there in any given day, 140 guys in every tournament, and they're not all going to like each other. So, right, and like anyone who's played tournament golf knows that, for the most part, everyone's good people and whatnot, but occasionally you come across a personality that they're not going to gel, and you
Yeah.
can't make them like each other. And sometimes in competition, you get paired with that person who you may not favor, but you have to get past that mentally and play your game and not let their personality interrupt you. So
I agree. I agree. Look, if we're looking at the tournament this weekend, we also had Scotty Scheffler, who finished second, kind of under the radar, uh, has yet to win a tournament. He's still pretty young, but 6 birdies on the last 8 holes. Just thought I'd give him a mention because I think he's going to have a breakthrough year next year.
yeah,
To get out there and talk. Um, Really nice to see Notah Begay at the tournament as well. I don't know if you know this, but he's actually a producer of that tournament. So he, bringing that ensemble cast of, golf, like getting everybody from Jimmy Roberts to do segments to Fehrety, who, Fehrety looks pretty quiet. I don't know, is it just me or did Fehrety not look well?
I thought he looked a little tired.
Yellow tired, yeah.
And so maybe maybe he was just tired. I hope that he is well.
Yeah.
But I did notice that this weekend. So, but what is he now? He's got to be pushing 70,
Oh, maybe,
right?
maybe. I don't know if he's
It's
up there yet. Late
someone
sixties,
look
yeah,
that up.
yeah.
Um,
We don't have a producer. We are the producers. We don't have anybody to look anything up. We may have that in the near future. But looking at David Feherty with Steve Sands, man, I thought it wasn't a very good mix of commentators to be together. Steve Sands, he just seems so enthusiastic about being in the booth that he kind of steals the show with all his information and knowledge. He needs to calm down. I'm glad they made a joke with him because he tried to figure out, something about Tiger Woods's foundation. What was that comment about the? Do you remember when they were all laughing in the booth? What was that about?
yeah, I don't
Oh,
remember what he said there exactly.
but in any
Um,
case, at least they lightened up the conversation with him because and I like Tiger looked like he was kind of sitting back, relaxing in his chair, enjoying and enjoying the fruits of his labor over the years. With 25 years of the Tiger Woods Foundation and over 2 million kids helped, I think it's something to be proud of. Even more, it goes beyond the what golf is and how much golf actually gives back to the community, to all the communities for that matter.
Yeah, people. I mean, a lot of people don't know that golf has a huge charitable aspect to it, and as do other pro sports. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Pro hockey and a lot of them give back, but every single golf tournament brings millions of dollars into local charities around it, and the Tiger Woods Foundation and the First Tee are doing great things to get kids into the game
Yeah.
and kids that may not be given that much of a chance to play golf, and they get to experience what golf does
Mm-hmm.
to your character, and opens up a lot of doors in one's life. So even just to it teaches honesty. So for a child to go out and get into golf, you can't cheat anyone but yourself out there. So yeah, it's great. So in Tiger. what an opportunity to, for one, all the success he has, but then to give that back and to help out a lot of different people, with their upbringing is great. Um,
Yeah, he's turning
and
46 at the end of the month. Those unique relationships he has with his sponsors in the game of golf gives not only the corporate sponsors a unique opportunity, but the golfers themselves to help out. And like you mentioned, not many people know how much money goes back into the communities because of these events and the money that's raised. So that's it's amazing. I just applaud them for that. They've been doing it for years.
yeah,
Um,
I
hey,
don't know what the total is. It's probably out there
yeah,
about the amount. I think it's about $1 billion in charity that's been given out in the life of the PGA Tour. I recall reading that. I could be wrong on that number, but it's a large number that's gone out. So if the tour wasn't as big as what it has become, there wouldn't be nearly that type of money that's helped out many different people. St. Jude Hospital, you name it. There's so many charities. We could do a 3-hour show on it.
Mike. Let's switch gears. Colin Morikawa. Pretty incredible player. Wins in Dubai, wins the majors, but folds like a lawn chair on the last 18. I was really surprised. Him, with all things considered, being the best iron player in the world, statistically based. And guess who's in second? It's Victor Hovland. And a lot of
Hmm.
the tournaments Victor played in don't have shot link stats. So he may, after all, be the very best iron player in the game right now. And so people are not looking at that. I think that's a valid point. And he doesn't take away, I think the pressure of all the golf analysts and the interviews and the papers. Now I'm dating myself. There's no paper, but all the media that's out there telling Colin Morikawa that he would take first place if he won that weekend. I think that's what got to him. I
Yeah.
think he was just so close to being the number one player in the world. I mean, you go through everything in life to live out your dream, and part of your dream is not only just to play the PGA Tour, but then to win, and then to be a major winner, and then have an opportunity to be the number one player in the world.
He's a great player statistically and executionally. He's a great player, but pressure creeps in, and even at a high level like that, and perhaps that's why that gave him the some jitters coming in. Uh, we have golf has a way of causing us to get in our minds and get away from just get away from the right thought process, and then you get out of the present and start thinking about the future and what you need to do to execute whatever target that is. Things happen. Pressure has a weird way of getting in. All you need to do is lose your concentration for a split second around the ball, and you make a bogey.
Yeah.
So that's in some ways it's great to see Colin struggle a little bit. That might kick him in the ass a little to focus and work on what misfortunes he had this week. And we're meant to struggle as humans. So just because you look at Tiger's struggles through the years, from injuries to accidents to swing
here,
changes
here,
and
we,
the
here
whole
we are back at Tiger. How many wins
so
do you think he would have if he didn't take off all those layoffs for 6 surgeries over the last 20 years, plus the swing changes? I mean, he
he'd
could
be
be
over 100.
over 100. That's insane.
Yeah, over 100.
Over
So 100.
100. I
So
think he has over 100 for worldwide wins. On PGA Tour, he's at 82 with, he's got 15 majors. I don't count him out, but I don't think he's going to have another major. He's certainly going to surpass Sam Snead on the 82 wins. I think
yeah,
there's no doubt about that. Uh,
I think he'll win, definitely. Will he win a major? Who knows? You can't. I don't want to say no because Tiger is Tiger, and he's 46. Look at Phil winning at 51. So that could easily happen with Tiger. if his body's strong enough and he recovers from this latest accident. So we all want to see it. It's easy to say, yeah, no, he's never going to win again. But you tell Tiger he's not going to win again. All it need someone like Brandel or one of the well-known announcers, they start saying that. All that does is fuel his personality and may push him to to do it. So yeah, I'd never rule this guy out. He's amazed us time and time again.
All right, Mike, it's that time. We have our new segment. It's called our top 10 list. We're going to talk about funny, possibly most relevant or interesting stories of 2021 in the golf world, brought to you by Tough Duck and Ping Pong. Ping Pong clothing and accessories, as well as Tough Duck is a clothing line, Canadian clothing line. So thanks to all our friends over at Big Time Showroom. Do you want to get this started at number 10, Mike?
Sure.
Since you
So we
mentioned
got
him.
number 10. We've got Phil winning the PGA. It is our number 10 moment of the year,
Feel the
right?
thrill. That's the guy is excellent as a broadcaster. I think he's got some gas left in the tank. He wants to play on the PGA Tour. He ends up winning the season end at the on the Champions Tour. He's got 3 victories on the Champions Tour. Wins the PGA at 51. Uh, Pretty incredible. Definitely a headliner. Anything else
Yeah.
stands out to you about Phil?
He Well, he just was firing on all cylinders that week, right? And as we all know, golf is cyclical. You have moments when you feel like you're untouchable, and then you can't hit the ball, for weeks after that. So he crushed it that week, and was really cool to see. Just to show, hey, that it can be done. Age isn't a barrier. Sure, it's statistically not as many folks at that age compete in a major, but he did it. So I think we still got a little bit of life in Phil in the majors, because you just need a gel for that week. You get the right course with the right combination of setup and distance, and paired with a hot player. Yeah, you never know. Love to see it happen again.
So super inspiring. Phil Mickelson makes the number 10 spot. Also, he has the length. I'd like to mention that too. He's got the length to play with those kids still. But let's go to number 9. Number 9, somebody who has a lot of length, Bryson DeChambeau. Him as sort of the poster boy of golf. He appeals to all demographics, not just because of his length, but because of his personality and how he's transcended the game in a way that Tiger did. Right? He's taking it to another level. I think all the kids in high school and college, university golf are looking at stats like never before. And starting off the year at Bay Hill with him hitting that long drive over the water, he got so much notoriety. Uh, just an incredible person, And I was reading in the New York Post and how he wanted to just quit the game, and
Yeah.
he ended up playing with Chris Pratt. Did you hear about this? He played with Chris Pratt, and
No.
he motivated him to show people who he really is. He was going to quit and just play long drive. He had enough of people kind of drilling him, and I didn't know about that. Found out about that earlier today. But the long drive championship, he showed that he's not just a freak show or a traveling circus, as some people said, which I don't like. I
Yeah.
think it takes a lot of athleticism, strength, flexibility, precision, and hard work to be able to hit the ball as far as those long drive guys do. He finished in the top 8. Very respectable with the top guys in the world.
The It was impressive to see, because for one, like golf, being that size, typically has been discouraged. So for him to play at PGA Tour level, win a U.S. Open, play, swing as hard as he can and keep the ball in the course, like that is unbelievable. Because if you watch a lot of these long drive tournaments, these guys have 140 yard wide. I'm not sure how wide the grid is, but they can't keep the ball in the grid. Bryson, he goes into these long drive tournaments with now with an accuracy element to him. I won't be surprised to see if he gets in the top three or wins one of those long drive competitions. So, but having the ability to swing like that on a golf course, keep the ball in play, is unbelievable. So, and his personality is unique. Like I got to admit, I wasn't his biggest fan, but I really do find him entertaining, and he's got a great place in the game. He's highly intelligent. What he looks at in terms of data points for a shot is would make the field player nauseated. But it's good. It's good for the game. See something different out there, because it was getting a bit robotic for a few years with a lot of these kids trying to have a Adam Scott or Tiger swing, and it's great to see something different, and because not everyone swings the same. So let's see more of this type of character in golf. I think it'd go a long way.
100%. I agree with everything you say. Bernhard longer in number 8. Now, some people
Yes.
watching this or listening to us might say, "Who's Bernhard Longer?" He's no slouch. At 64 years of age, I don't think anybody's accomplished what he has with the amount of wins that he has. 52, was it 52 wins, 51 wins on the on that tour. With a dozen wins on the PGA Tour, with worldwide wins. The guy is just incredible. I think he has a nickname.
Um, do
They
you know
call him
what
the
it is?
Terminator.
The Terminator. So I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I've been
Uh,
hit it long. It's my terrible German
well,
accent. I sound
he
like Arnold.
100%. He does sound like Arnold, but he is great. I mean, he works hard till this day. He's one of the hardest working players out there. Everyone knows it. Phil commented on it in the wrap up of the Charles Schwab Cup. He played through a ton of pain to finish off that week. Had he not finished that week, he wouldn't have won the season long race, 2 season long race. So he toughed it out through serious back pain, and no, that man's a true competitor. There's not one real bad thing you can say about that guy through his career. He's deserves all of what he has, because you work hard and you'll get it.
Right on, right on. Who do we got at number 7?
Now we have purses and sponsors. So here is something that is the purses are exploding on tour, right? We're looking at for 2022. I've got some notes here. FedEx Cup bonus pool has increased by 15 million to a total of 75 million. We got the Comcast Tour Top 10. Uh, it's doubled to 20 million. There's 838 million in comprehensive earnings available to the players in 2022, and 427 million coming through the official prize money, with an average purse of 9 million per year. Right,
Is that
FedEx
all?
Cup. Oh no, it goes on. There's so much information. The St. Jude Championship and B&W Championship in the playoffs have increased by more than 5 million to 50 million an event. FedEx Cup, champion wins 18 million.
Nice.
The Players Championship's got a $20 million purse. That's up from 15, making it the richest tournament. The prize money is unbelievable. There's still more. Player Impact Program has been increased to 40 million, from 40 million to 50 million. So plus a 15 tournament bonus of 50K to each player who plays 15 events. So I mean, that sounds like chump change to the rest of the money I've mentioned here, but there is a lot of money in
But
pro
it's
golf.
it's well deserved. Playing at that level, at the highest level of golf, they're not playing mini tours. They've got an expense. They're independent contractors who individually have to pay for absolutely everything. So when they bring their whole team down to, let's say, Vegas, I mean, it costs them 40 to 50,000 to host their weekend, and they may not even make the cut and make any money. So
Yeah.
it's a full expense on that weekend.
Yep.
And there's a fine line between making a cut and making a paycheck. And for those who don't know, who are listening and watching right now, you need to make the cut on the weekend to make a paycheck. And although they do
And
have sponsorship money and that kind of pulls them along, some of these players don't have much sponsorship money.
that's right. And the PGA Tour, there's a lot more publicity through that tour. So, some of the players that below the top 75 likely don't have the sponsorship of the players above 75 on the list. And you look at other tours like the LPGA, these girls, they have a tough go. They have similar expenses to the PGA Tour. They don't have the viewership and the TV deals that the PGA has. So there's a lot of reasons why those purses are lower, but doesn't take away from the cost of them traveling. They've got to bring their
Right.
caddy. They've got to bring potentially their coach or strength trainers, whoever it may be. There's a significant cost. And one of the beauties of golf and pro tennis, for that matter, is these guys they're self-employed.
Yep.
They got to go out there and play to pay. So if they miss the cut, that's too bad. All those expenses are due, and it's tough. So that's why you see.
And today it's harder because the entry fees for even the mini tours to be able to get up to where they're playing the Corn Ferry Tour and your travel expenses, which includes hotel, food.
Yeah,
The list really goes on, and people don't realize how much that actually costs. You're looking at $50,000 to $100,000 to be traveling at a high level professional, as a high level professional, and making it out to these events, because you need to be a globetrotter as well, because you're going out to the European tour, you're playing in Asia. It's a worldwide game, more so now than ever before. And so these juniors and up and coming professionals really need to budget for these things. And if they don't have a good support system, it's very difficult. Unlike when
yeah.
you're coming out of college and university, you have a guaranteed salary cap going into a team, plus you get a signing bonus. This is unheard of in golf, right? So
Yeah, no,
they're finally starting to catch up, because if you were to compare the top 20 players on tour and what their net income is based on purses to the PGA Tour, and compare that to a professional sporting organization like the MLB, NHL, the NFL, there's no comparing. These guys are making at least 70% less than the top 10. And so it sounds like a lot, but yeah, there's a lot of money.
yeah. These guys take a lot of risk to go and chase their dream. So, and there's a lot more failure stories than there are success stories out there, and that is still, again, one of the beauties of golf, because the door's open to anyone. Like the U.S. Open, anybody can go try and qualify and get through the stages. You got to pay your way through it. Yeah, even an amateur can go try and get into the U.S. Open. They do, but you're paying your own way there. So, but if you can make it, you can get yourself. You can play right onto the field with the pros.
Yeah. Well,
So
let's jump right ahead, because we got a couple more to go here on our top 10. We're
yeah,
only on number 6. What's number 6?
Olympics.
Ah, the
So quick
Olympics.
recap. From the women's side, Nelly Korda wins gold, and silver goes to I think this is Monet Inami. Pardon me if I've got that wrong. She's won silver, and Lydia Ko took home bronze for New Zealand. So
Mm-hmm.
Xander Schauffele, as you all know, won gold for the U.S. And this is a great story. Rory Sabatini, gaining Slovakian citizenship and winning a silver medal.
Well,
So
I think they got bronze. Didn't he get bronze?
no,
Silver.
no, CT Pan's got bronze from Taipei,
Okay, all right. So you got
right?
silver. Like that's pretty incredible. Isn't he from South Africa? I was just about to say. So
He's
he's
from South Africa,
yeah.
and I remember in President's Cup in Montreal, and as we were there,
We were there together,
covering
2007.
some of the pre-tournament time on the range
Yeah.
with the press and all that. That was great. And Sunday, I was actually walking around and ran into Rory Sabatini's wife, and she had organized that all the international players wear Montreal Canadiens jerseys.
I remember that. Pretty
So I
amazing.
saw her coming, and I recognized her from Golf Central the night before, and stopped her. She actually chatted with me for about maybe 90 seconds, 2 minutes max,
Yeah.
and again around the 14th hole, I was lingering around, the bunker on the drivable par four there, and she came by again and chatted with us,
Yeah,
and
President's Cup was
which was pretty cool.
outstanding. For those who are listening to what Mike is saying, we ended up spending. I was working for a CJ80 800 in Montreal and West Island Golf Media at the time. We're covering the President's Cup. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to maybe do that next year with our golf podcast. And pretty amazing experience altogether. I would really push anybody who likes the game of golf or loves it to really get a feel for what this is about and go to a Ryder Cup or a President's Cup event. And next year is a President's Cup event, which is all the best international players in the world playing against the U.S. team, top U.S. players. All right, let's jump on to number
Number
five.
five,
What
we
are we?
got COVID.
We got COVID.
Yeah.
COVID's really interesting for the fact that there actually COVID actually is on our top 10. That's pretty ridiculous, but it's not ridiculous because let's just remember a few things that happened because of COVID. John Rahm is pulled out of the Memorial with a 6-shot lead because of COVID. Bryson DeChambeau tests positive for COVID and doesn't go to the Olympics. We talked about the Olympics. And I think if we were to make a list of stories of players who were not able to travel because of restrictions, it's been a very strange year, and it's really halted the progression in a lot of ways for certain players to be able to travel, go to tournaments, do qualifiers, and so COVID's on our list as one of the top 10 most
It was
relevant things in golf this year.
is we all want to get past it and not hear about it anymore. It was a huge factor in the last 18 months
Yep.
with golf, and golf was instrumental actually in sport in opening up again. Golf showed how it could be done, and they were the first sport to start having events again. And you know what, got to say, watching tournaments with no fans there,
Mm.
as much as you miss them and realize it, but visually it was really appealing. The golf courses, they look green. You could actually see the entire golf course. I thought that was very interesting from a viewer perspective. And, especially on the venues that we see over and over again every year with stands and all that, but you actually see the layout of the course. And there was parts of it that I didn't mind. And they did some extra events, like on Wednesdays they're taking a foursome and miking them up, and they were going out and doing a little charity game, and it was spoke to what we mentioned earlier in the show with profiles. It was a way to see these guys just casually playing a game, and seeing a different side of these players. So there's a lot of really cool things that came out of COVID. We all would like to avoid, but yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah,
Now
let's
we can
not
just
give
carry on.
COVID too much power and positivity.
No, no.
Let's go to number four, Ryder Cup. Ryder Cup
Yep.
is probably one of the greatest and most relevant things that happened in 2021. One of the most memorable things is the press conference the U.S. team had after their win. It was so entertaining. I don't think any of them thought that they had to do a press conference for a half hour with Justin Johnson being sort of the star of that whole press conference, and the comments from all the players, and even Koepka and Bryson,
Yeah, they
kind of
had a fake
hugging it
hug.
out, the fake hug at the end. But it was great. It was good fun. The tournament itself, like you said, it was great to see the fans out. Um, you could see the
The
emotion
tournament,
on the European side with Rory McIlroy, breaking down and how much this really means to all of these players, because they don't
yeah,
really get a chance to play in a team environment. They're always such individualists in their pursuit of excellence, and so
and I
representing
think
your country or your your continent, being Europe, is pretty incredible.
Yeah, that representing your country has got to be something else for any sport. But this situation with the Ryder Cup was, I think, was the changing of the guard. This young American team, they're a lot more connected than the previous American teams. These guys are buddies, right? Like Thomas and Speith, and Fowler. They all hang out together, and they travel more together than the previous team members did. And um, the European team has basically been feeding it to the U.S. for years. Over the last 10, 20 years, it's predominantly the Euros drumming U.S. So to see, the level of golf the U.S. team put forward in wire to wire win, it wasn't even close, really. But it was a great tournament. It was
Yeah.
great, and
Big shout out to
the
Phil Mickelson and Steve Stricker for doing such a great job with all the players
yeah,
and the pairings, letting the players decide what they should really do, them gelling as a team, getting them really to work together because that's where the Europeans really shined is just being a family, working together, making it work, getting the pairings going, and that confidence you talked about earlier, it was just, you know, booming from the U.S. team like I've never seen before. And it's the changing of the guard. Absolutely,
yeah,
100. You're right on the money with that. All right, let's get to number three. We're running low on time. We got Brooks and Bryson. Now, them as a story, and that kind of rivalry between them. It's healthy. It's great for the game. Don't know what else to say. Uh, you know, Even going out to the Ryder Cup, Bryson went 2-0-1. He played really great. Um, and let's talk about the match. For those
yeah,
of you who don't know, there was a match between Bryson and Koepka, right, in Las
yeah.
Vegas.
It was pretty Well, let me say this: it was fun at the first couple holes because it was like a Tyson fight was about to go down. Honestly, I thought the match was a little boring. Had it been closer, it would have been great. But it wasn't like, yeah, obviously Brooks won, by a landslide, but it really came down to some putts on Bryson's point. Like he really didn't putt very well. Could have been a lot closer of a match, and
It's only
it
12
might have been more
holes. I mean,
compelling.
it's really hard to tell or gauge anything. Didn't give them a
Yeah.
chance to catch up at all.
No, it really wasn't, and they were both hitting wild balls. It's just Brooks. Brooks was on. He hit some great shots and in key moments, and made birdies when Bryson didn't. And then Bryson made a couple bogeys, and it was entertaining though in the fact like Bryson brought a box of cupcakes out onto the tee, right? And just as a because for anyone who knows that Brooks Cupcake has been a nickname that's been going around,
Right.
and so it was kind of great to see them having some fun with this little rivalry. But it also makes you think: is part of this rivalry intentional to drive up the player improvement or the PIP score?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
who
all these
knows?
players are brands now, right? They've got everything from clothing lines to drinks to what have you, right?
Yeah.
They're just driving it that way. I found all the pre-show stuff was a lot of fun for that
Yes.
tournament. You had Mickelson sitting in with some young guys. They're making fun of him that he wears his sunglasses, that he puts stuff in his coffee. They're making fun of Brooks's veneers, and
Yeah.
it was a different way to have a casual tournament. And then
Yeah.
Bryson going on top of the Wynn Resort Hotel, hitting shots off the roof and landing on a giant picture of Kepka's face. It was entertaining. It was different. Gave a different perspective on things, and it was somewhat entertaining. But I think the rivalry is healthy. I don't want them to change. I want them to be themselves. Anybody who wants to put them in a box and not to say things is it's not right. It's not
Yeah.
right. They might be out
Let
of
these
place
guys go.
sometimes. They're going to make mistakes. Especially with DeChambeau talking about his equipment manufacturer. They've been bending over backwards to get it right for him, and
Yeah.
he throws them
Oh,
into the sewer with
he
his
roasted
comments.
them.
Yeah.
He roasted them. If I was Cobra, I would have said goodbye.
Well,
But
it's a maturity thing, right? They
yeah,
understood. They understand that you get fired up
right.
sometimes. You say the wrong thing. I'm sure he apologized.
Yeah, 100%. Like Sergio Garcia, how many times did he wish he had 5 minutes to calm down
Yeah,
before some of his comments he's made over the years? It is
yeah,
golf's an irritating sport
yeah.
sometimes. So,
Especially if you wear a full
um,
yellow outfit and take your shoes off and throw it at people. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Well, let's go on to
where
number
are
two
we?
here.
Where are we?
We got
We're
number two,
number two.
LPGA.
LPGA. Look, the LPGA has never got the recognition it deserves. They've been trying so hard. Finally, we have an onslaught of young talent who are playing so well, shooting lights out, and the sponsors are jumping on. There's a purse increase anywhere from 5% all the way to 70% for the following
Yeah,
season, and they're getting the coverage because it's really up to the networks and to cover this just as much because that's what's going to give the notoriety. There are
yeah,
inside stories. I know it's a really hard angle with all the Korean and Asian players playing in the U.S. and when they do their press conference, they're basically just trying to get out generic sentences because that's all they've learned. They're not even answering the question. It's pretty dry. But there's a lot
yeah.
of American great players, coming out with Korda and all the Canadian girls coming out on tour. I think we got 5 of them. So kudos to our Canadian girls playing on tour.
Absolutely. The LPGA, as we said before, is it isn't a great place. I've made comments about them struggling and not having the sponsorship money, which is true, but they are growing year over year. These girls are good golfers.
Yeah,
They are arguably better than the men in some ways because they're not all trying to be power players like out there. There are some long hitters, obviously, but their wedge game and their iron play is so smooth. It's something to watch, and they are getting better coverage on TV. The quality of golf internationally is improving year after year. So kudos to them.
yep,
Let's see the tour grow more. Let's see more money in their purses, and we're going to see because the Tiger effect, as I've said before, that applies to the females too.
yeah,
So we're all these young girls
yeah.
are maturing, and so I think over the next 10 years we're going to see even more young girls out there who with better skills. It's just going to be
The women are way better ambassadors of the game. They're really involved with the charity and promoting the game. If you look at somebody like Lexi Thompson or Brooke Henderson, or the Korda sisters, they're doing a lot for the game, in the sense of making themselves present and being vocal about what they're part of and how they're interacting with the LPGA to make things better, along with the sponsorship.
yeah.
And it's that's so important. So that's really great. Listen, Mike, I wanted to know what you think because this has been an issue for the last couple of years in the LPGA. Is the dress code issue because the girls on the LET tour and even the PGA tour started wearing tights and leggings and tight shorts. I mean, uh, as a guy, it doesn't really matter. But my problem is let them wear whatever they want to wear, right? Because that if
Yeah.
it's athletic, it's not like they're going out in bikinis, right? They're wearing athletic sportswear that the LPGA is deeming to be inappropriate. Really?
Well, that's obviously a kind of a hot button issue, and I'm on the camp of let them wear what they want to wear. Like I don't believe unless they're going out there dressing like strippers. No, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But if they're wearing clothing that supports athleticism, that makes them
More
more
comfortable,
more
right?
comfortable,
It's
whatever, they could let them wear what they want to wear, it's fine. When you get into controlling
yeah.
the uniforms and putting out rules like that. I'm always a little leery when
Yeah.
organizations do that kind of stuff.
And
And
golf is in a very
uh,
unique spot. It's unlike any other sport, right? Tennis had the same problem for a number of years. Wearing white during Wimbledon, or not having certain types of clothing with collars, no collar, no sleeves, sleeves.
yeah,
That even small stuff like that. Guys can't wear shorts during tournaments. Now they're starting to make exceptions if the weather hits a certain, if there's a certain temperature outside. But the guys should be able to wear shorts too. Um, okay, we're
Yeah,
taking
well,
away from the women.
totally. Yeah, no, we're exactly, but they should be able to wear what they want. It's a
Yeah,
sport as long as it's looks respectable
yeah.
in my view, right? And that is it's a fine line for the LPGA to tout, and I hope they back off from it. So because you have to put faith in these professionals that they're going to dress according to their sport and whatever works for them. So that's yeah, it's not. I agree. I just say let's let them wear what they feel is best.
Right on.
So
Thanks,
let's
Mike.
carry over to number one here.
Number
Pretty
one.
easy
It's.
topic to talk.
I don't think it's going to be hard for anybody to guess what we're going to say. Who's the number one topic, subject, most relevant person in 2021? It's got to be Mr.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. Everything from the accident to now has been just an incredible headline story. How everything, how he built up his game to a point where he was actually back, and then he
Yeah,
gets into that accident in LA and actually recovers and is hitting balls again. And he's talking about how Ben Hogan made a return to the game. For him to even have an analogy or comparing himself to Ben Hogan and his car accident and coming back into the game gives me a good sense that that's what he's planning to do. And he's only going to come back when he's at a level where he's ready to compete at the highest level. Um,
he competes to win. He's not out here to make cuts. Even as he's come back a couple of years ago after being off, he was there to win. He's always been there to win, even when he just started. And the famous interview with Curtis Strange, where Curtis basically told him to give his head a shake. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he's going to learn. So I believe is what he said. And next event, Tiger goes out and wins. So he's got a winning mindset. If if his body isn't in shape to win, and then we probably won't see him out there that much. But I suspect he's going to be out there competing this coming year, and we're going to look forward to another one of those PGA Championship or pardon me, Tour Championship victories with the crowd swelling in behind him, and another moment. I think we got a few Tiger moments left, in us.
I think so too. And I think that's it, Mike. We've gone over an hour. We're at an hour and 7 minutes or so for this podcast. We didn't have time to go through our favorite golf courses and funny golf stories, but we'll be back next week. Come join us next Monday. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends and give us a listen. Give us a chance. So we're growing every week. We're going to do our very best to up our production value. We've got a lot of great guests coming on. 2022 is going to be a big year for the Golf Podcast Live. And for Michael Bleackley, I'm Rafael Kalamat. Until next week, we'll see you soon. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks, Mike.